Like a 2-year process. Me getting here. Yeah. I applied once, but second time's the charm. And here I am. So my presentation is entitled The Architecture of Touch, Braiding, Ritual, and Designing on the Body. So we've already introduced. I'm Lauren Hooks, your 2026 Hybrid Body Lab Artist in Residence. And I'd like to take you back to the 90s, okay? A time before YouTube when I sat down in the mirror one day and taught myself how to braid. This ritual beauty practice has become an artistic expression for me. And I've learned how to manipulate the fabric that we all call hair. In the beginning of my career as a hairstylist, I knew that I wanted to be something bigger than just a stylist behind the chair. The ideas that I had in my head were just too crazy. Exhibit A. This is one of my favorite works, actually, one of the first, where we had to do a Halloween project and I created my voodoo queen. Inside her hair was a structure that I attached the braids to create this design. So, around 5 years into my career as a freelance artist, I found myself surrounded by so many artists. There were dancers, drag performers, choreographers, sculptors, painters, and I was just enthralled with their works and how they approached their different mediums. And so I got the idea from a friend of mine who challenged me and said, why don't you try and use some other conventional materials in your work? I challenge you. And this was what came from that challenge. I had the thought to use some satin rope and upholstery trim. And I sewed it to my client's hair who was having a dance performance. And this was the first iteration of Lauren as an artist. So today I ask you, what if braiding is one of the oldest forms of wearable design? What is the problem? Every style that I do starts with a design brief. Consultation reveals the key components that it will take to make a style successful. Let's look at a couple of my works in that regard. So in this first set of photos, the client simply requested two-strand twists. This is a very basic style in my world, but the thing about it is that it's usually done with a middle part and twists that go in a horseshoe from side to side, like from hairline to hairline, they go back and forth. The difference with this particular style was that he wanted a bang, he wanted hair in his face. And so that's where I get creative. Let's step outside the box a little bit. And it allowed me to create a circular directional design that created, and it kind of looks like a turtle shell. But I really love it. It's really like visually pleasing. And so, yeah, let's go on to the next one. So here I'm going to show you a video of a commission that I had from a local fashion designer for Atlanta Fashion Week entitled Verdict Still Out. That's the name of the brand. I was asked to create a braid crown that mimicked the Statue of Liberty. This video is going to show us kind of the design process and what I went through while creating that. This is the social media, what was that, advertisement for the show. So the base of it was just a trucker hat. And I decided to use some cardstock in order to create the structure for the actual crown portion. Pre-made braids were used to wrap around, which also created more stability to the structure as well. Around and around. And finally, we're done with that portion. Next, I use aluminum wire to create the spikes of the crown. I use this because it's lightweight and it was easy to manipulate with a finger width as the measurement for how far apart I would do the coils back and forth. Next, we attach the braid to the structure. Hot glue. Stuff of creative champions. Here you see me just examining fit. I had originally created 5 spikes, like the actual Statue of Liberty, to be attached. And you'll see here. In the next portion, I'm trying to fit the 4th and 5th spike, and they just aren't fitting. And it's not working. It doesn't look clean. And so I had to go in a different direction. I chose to just use 3 and then 2 smaller skinny spikes just for like more of a decorative look than an actual spike. Fitting and securing. Finally, we secure the crown to the hat. And that is that. Okay, so here is an editorial photo shoot. I was a part of a team of artists coming together to achieve the cohesive vision of a good friend and mentor of mine, Hannah Evans, who was submitting to the National American Hair Awards. As a part of her team, I received this brief that you'll see there on the left, where she sent me a picture of my model and also a mood board of where she would like to go with the design. From there, I created this wonderful barbed wire design with wire and elastic that were inside the coils of her hair and then were bent into place. Braiding as systems design. The design principles of my work are pattern, tension, duration, intimacy, and transformation. Each of these things must be considered for the completion of any style brief to be successful. Failure to create a system that works in harmony with the client's needs and expectations can result in future loss of opportunities, even if the aesthetic outcome is positive. Let's take a look at each principle and how it's applied in my works. Pattern. So essentially, braiding is a pattern of a repeating pattern of strands going over and under each other to create a structure that, I'm sorry. Pattern creates structure. As you can see here, on the left, you have a traditional braid, which uses 3 strands. And on the right, you have a 2-strand braid, which is called a rope twist. Also, in the world of pattern, we have parting, which is one of the most important design elements in my work. Clean partings draw in the eye by highlighting the negative space of the scalp in between the braids. Strategy is everything. Every style begins with a single line that creates balance and will serve as an anchor for the rest of the head. So, guys, looking at these 2 designs, do you guys see any similarities? Would anyone like to take a guess?
Some spiral on the hair.
Spirals on the head. Yes, there are spirals. Anything else?
Scar.
Okay.
Scar. It's the shape is like a scar here.
It's like a scar.
Yeah, the shape.
Yeah, so you could say that. Oh, you mean with the stitches?
Yeah.
Stitches look like a scar. Yeah, I can see that for sure. What you got?
There's a gradual change in the thickness for each braids.
There is always going to be a gradual change in the thickness just because as you continue to add more hair, the structure becomes more dense. And so there will always be a gradual thickness, but the actual answer that I was looking for here is that both of these designs actually started with an S-shaped parting down the middle of the head. If you look here, it's winding in that way. And then with the other one, you see it starts with an S. This is one of my favorite ways to begin any like freestyle creative brief. I love curved lines on a curved surface. It really makes me happy. Now back to the basics. In any artist practice, there are skills from which all creativity blooms. For me, that is a perfect set of straight back braids, or cornrows as we call them. Drawing straight lines on a curved surface can be difficult, but it's the hallmark of a skilled braid artist. Mastering this skill begins with understanding the head shape. At the beginning of my career, I was actually a hair cutting specialist. During that training, we learned to make head sheets. We would have to, for every haircut that we learned, we would have to map the shape of the head and show the angles at which the hair was cut and how things were done. I found that as a braider, this skill has come in handy because it's a great way to map out a style before you actually get the client or the subject in front of you. So this is a basic head map of 8 straight back braids. The way it's done, you'll see a center parting down the middle of the head, front to back, and then there's a parting ear to ear over the head, and then a parting ear to ear going back across the occipital, which is that little hump that you have at the bottom, at the base of your skull. And so the furthest actual length across your head is from ear to ear over the top. So if you use that as the basis to determine the width of the braids, then you'll always get even partings. From there, once you have this down, it's the basics, it's really important, you would be able to go into something like this. Believe it or not, this is the same basic 8 braids with just a few minimum tweaks. So instead of going straight back, we start at the corners and create curves. And I have crisscrossed some of the braids over each other for a design effect. And this is how you would draw that. So yeah, instead of just straight across, we've curved. Instead of straight across, we've curved. And that's how you get from A to B here. The next element is tension. Tension is important for 2 main reasons. First and foremost is going to be the health of the hair and the comfort of the client. If too much tension is placed on the hair, the follicles can simply release. It can cause pain and potentially hair loss. The next most important reason for tension is going to be to provide direction and balance for the braids. On the left here, you'll see a design where the tension was placed in the middle of the section. And so the braid sits in the middle of the section. Versus on the right there, the tension has been pulled to one side of the parting, creating a different effect, a different visual effect. All right. The next element is time. The time that it takes to create a design is a great determining factor in the result. There's a saying amongst craftsmen that says cheap, quick, and good. Pick 2 because you can't have all 3. Well, in my world, it's a little bit more nuanced than that. Intricate designs like the ones you see here take longer, and the clients that want those understand the sacrifice of time for design. Here's a condensed video of a style that took me 17 hours to complete. Tiny braids with added hair, measuring the length of each braid to create a visual effect of a V. And adding the beads is what took the most time. You'll notice throughout the video here that the sun is moving, and I find that hilarious. I actually thought that this style was only going to take me about 10 hours, maybe 12 at the most. 15 hours later, I was braiding with my eyes closed. Oh my gosh, it was crazy. You see, it's dark now.
Yeah.
This is probably my favorite durational design. I mean, it really took forever, but it was truly a labor of love. The only thing I hate is that it wasn't a wig. I wish it still existed. I hate that, because we're never doing this again, let's be honest. But, but I wish I could still go back to this style and see it. And you notice how it goes down into a V. That was also a part of the timing, because every braid had to be measured so that and measured to the other side. I wanted symmetry. I wanted a certain length. And so, yeah, took forever, but I'm so proud of it. Next, in the world of time, we're going to discuss styling for film. In the world of film, time is always of the essence. The term movie magic holds true because of the immense talent of artisans on set to make great things happen in a little bit of time. We plan sometimes for months in advance to get things done very well and in very quickly. Last year was my first opportunity to actually braid on set. The project was a series in which the story took place over a few months, but the filming took place over just 12 days. Sometimes we were shooting 2 or 3 different days on the same day. And so I had to change this character's hair. And I planned her hair so that I could change it quickly and provide different looks without taking very much time. And so the strategy here was to keep her hair. The strategy was actually just to keep the middle part. The middle part is often the hardest. Like, it's one of those things visually, it's the first thing you see. And it takes a while. So I was like, let's keep the middle part. Everything else I can do quickly. So all the styles were either 2 or 4 braids arranged in different ways with bobby pins. And that could be changed within 5 or 10 minutes versus these styles individually done daily could take an hour. Ritual. I believe that the reason that braiding became so endeared to me as a young girl was the ritual of it all. No matter how short or long a style takes, my chair becomes a place of rest and community for everyone who comes across it. Since I've grown both as a woman and in my practice, I've learned that my ancestors, as well as cultures around the world, use grooming in the same way. The power of transformation happens both physically and mentally when one takes time to take care of the body. This is just a photo of, well, some photos of me in process with one of my favorite collaborators, Faye Monet. We do a lot of work together. So this is us in process, and there's the transformation. Isn't she gorgeous? This last slide is a still from a durational dance performance that I was in a part of, entitled Barbie in a Box. The artist was making a statement about the ability of women to see our highest selves, even when that version of us seems to be up on a shelf or behind glass. My mission as an artist is to provide that mirror to all people in the midst of ugliness and uncertainty. My name is Lauren Hooks. Thank you so much for attending, and I'd like to open up the floor for questions.
So we can maybe start in the room and then on Zoom. Any questions? Feel free to just raise your hand, introduce yourself, and ask away.
You said it all.
I have a question. Thank you so much for the very interesting talk. I never learned like the behind scene story about the brace. I'm curious for your artwork. how long would they usually stay for a consumer? And also, how would you feel when people change their style? Because I would assume if it's an exhibition at the museum or if it's a painting, it live forever, mostly. But for your hairstyle, it will gone some days. How would you feel as an artist creating that?
You know, it's truly the hardest part. Like I showed you guys that video and it took me 17 hours. She kept it in for about 3.5 weeks. But after that, I mean, the hair continues to grow. I love it because it provides me an opportunity to do it again and do something different. But I am starting to like think of ways where things can live a little bit longer because I miss it. I wish I could go to my wig room and see that right now. But that's why we get photos. Hair is a thing that lives in photos. Whether it's fashion, if it's a movie, if it's a fashion show, a photo shoot, it lives in the visuals. And I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Any other questions from folks in the room?
Actually, question.
Sure.
Thank you for a great talk. I'm Kenneth. I'm actually from Penn State. Actually, they are my student, and we are taking sabbatical leave. I am taking sabbatical leave to visit Cornell this year. This is amazing. This is totally entirely new to me. So I'm curious about when you work on set or on fashion shows, like when you have like very strict time constraint, and you did say that you plan ahead of time to
Yes.
make sure you can do things quickly, more efficiently. But when you plan, I assume you kind of need to communicate with the set, with the film people to get some approval or at least to convey your idea. I want to do it this way, this way, this way. And can you tell us more about how do you communicate your idea beforehand with them?
Okay, yeah. So in the world of film, you get to, in the planning stage, you're talking to the director, you're talking to the showrunner, and what they want is very important. What they want to see, how they want to build this character. One of the big things about hair is that it's very indicative of identity. Like very often, even before, if someone never says a word to you,
Yeah.
if they have a certain hairstyle, you probably have kind of an idea of what kind of person they are. Like, are they more conservative? Is it crazy hair? Is it no hair at all? You know, so that's a big part of story. And so I get to talk to the director and see what their vision is. And from there, I give them my expertise of, because sometimes they have crazy ideas. And I have to break their hearts and say, well, yes, I could do that, but I could do it in 12 hours. And they're like, oh no, can't do it in 12 hours. Or, yes, we do want to do that in 12 hours, but we're going to do it the day before. You know, and so we get to do planning. Or, like the one that I showed you guys, we say, okay, we want her to have crazy hairstyles. So, in what way can we convey that in the time that we have allotted? And I say, okay, well, we can do a crazy color. And then we'll do these two ponytails. I can make them go up. I can make them go out. I can make them go round and around. And we can do that quickly. So it's just all about the planning. With that particular show, I mean, we were in meetings twice a week for about 2 months,
Oh, wow.
getting ready for the show. And in that time, we had it down to a T by the time it was time to film.
Thank you very much.
Yes.
There are two questions on Zoom.
Okay.
The first is from another PhD student in our department, Jasmine Gardner. She's simply asked, do you need hair models when you're doing your residency?
Yes.
I would totally be down.
Yes, I need hair models.
I don't know if you can see me. I unmuted and I undid my video. But yeah, that's so cool. I love your work. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jasmine.
I'll come to see you. I work with Professor Cow too.
Okay, cool. Yeah, come say hi.
Yeah.
There's another question from Sharifa Whoop. And I saw you on Zoom. Maybe you can unmute and ask the question, or did you? Yeah.
Okay. Well, hello, I am Sharifa Webb. I'm the Associate Dean of Students and Director of Black Student Empowerment. I'm also a loctician who started my work in college before receiving formal training, and then I became Sister Lock certified and all that. So I really appreciate your commitment to like creativity, precision, because we know that parting is definitely so important, and your connection to your clients. I feel like working with hair is deeply personal as it connects to someone's crown. And so I have a few questions. So how do you take care of your hands and your body, especially after 17 hours and still, because you're after 17 hours, you're still creating such beautiful work that doesn't look like there was so much labor going into it. Are there any other techniques with braiding that you'd like to learn? And then how do you think that braiding is going to transform now that we're having conversations about kind of what the chemicals that are being used in the braiding hair? Like, do you think that we'll move to where we are not going to add hair anymore? And thank you for your presentation. I thoroughly enjoyed learning from you. We are in 626 Thurston. If you'd like to stop by and engage with the students, I know they would love it because my students are in class right now and didn't get to log in. So that was a lot, but thank you so much, and I'd love to hear from you.
Okay, so I think the first question you asked was about how do I take care of myself? How do I take care of my body? I don't know what kind of luck I have that my hands never hurt. My hands never hurt. However, my body, my back, my legs, they ache. Epsom salt is my best friend. Good shoes are my best friend. And stretching my body is very important. Also, I think you asked a question about the future of braiding and hair. Now that we found out that Kanekalon is carcinogenic, well, I mean, the charge is already being led. There are several creators out there that are researching and figuring out organic alternatives to braiding hair. Banana fiber is a big one that's being used right now. The stalk and the leaves of the banana plant are broken down and made into a synthetic hair. They're making wigs with it. They're making braiding hair with it. And it's pretty comparable. I mean, it's more comparable to human hair than traditional braiding hair would be, actually. It's actually going to be a part of my work while I'm here to do some more research and learn about other fibers that we'll be able to use in this way. It's something that's very important to me. Braids aren't going anywhere. We're never going to stop braiding our hair, but how can we do it in a healthy way that protects our people and protects our crowns, like you said? So yeah, it's a part of my research, and I hope that, I just want to be a part of the innovation in the industry. And so I'm so happy to be here amongst so many intelligent people that can help me achieve this.
When you do the more intricate like braids, like short braids, how do you draw out the design? Like, do you draw out like showing the tension and stuff, or do you go off of photos and copy it one for one?
When I'm doing a more intricate design,
Yeah, like
it depends. It depends. I am fortunate to have some clients that just trust me, and they're like, do whatever you want. I'm just a vessel. And so, a lot of times, sometimes I think about it ahead of time. Sometimes I get there and I'm like, butterfly, and then it happens. There are also instances where there is a very specific aesthetic goal that I'm going for, and I do draw. I do draw, just like how I showed the head sheets. It wouldn't be as technical as that. It's usually just me swirling with my hand and a pencil. But I do draw out the idea. It's never exact because the surface of the head, the size of the head, the shape of the hairline are all very important. And so if it's someone that I've never worked with before, then I need to be in front of them to really do the mapping. But I do draw to start it off, just to get an idea of where I'm going with it.
Here's another question on Zoom from Lindsay. You can unmute.
Hello, can everyone hear me?
Yes.
Hi. So I actually don't have a question. I'm actually just here as a testament to Miss Hook's work. I'm one of her clients from Atlanta, and I just wanted to pop in to tell her how exceptionally proud I am of her and how impressed I am with this presentation. And we can't wait for you to come back so I can sit in your chair again.
Thank you, Lindsay.
Any final questions? Okay, so with that, please let's give Lauren another tremendous round of applause for amazing. I also wanted to put out an ad for Lauren. Will be giving another talk. It will be around late April, towards the end of her residency, where she'll be talking about the artist residency project that she created in our lab. So please stay tuned. We'll be advertising it again, and we look forward to hopefully seeing some of you again. And thank you all so much for being here. And thank you so much, Lauren. We're really, really thrilled to have you. Super inspired by your work, and
Thank you.
just honored to be graced by your presence.
Thank
And
you so
thank
much.
you everyone for joining. Also like in 3D and also online. So have a great day, everyone. Thank you. Woo.